Hey geeks, what's going on? My name is Brent and welcome to Save Station, your one-stop shop for all stuff gaming on the Geek XP. Now, today, Blizzard tweeted and posted on their website a really cool faux article interviewing a genius 11-year-old girl from Numbani. So, this article by Atlas News interviews 11-year-old genius Effie Oladele. And if I'm mispronouncing that, then I apologize, but I honestly have nothing else to go on. So Effie is this brilliant engineer and works with artificial intelligence and robotics. And I'm just going to read the first paragraph of this article. Already one of the world's foremost centers of scientific discovery and exploration, Numbani has a brilliant new mind to add to its ranks. Effie Oladele. In the last year, she's built a resume of impressive achievements in robotics and artificial intelligence, but perhaps most remarkably is that she's done all of this by the age of 11. Last month, she became the most recent recipient of the Adawe Foundation's prestigious Genius Grant, in recognition of her many accomplishments. She is undoubtedly someone whose career will be watched with great interest. Now, basically, the rest of the article goes on. They ask her how she feels about the honor. She can't believe it. She's only 11. About how she got into robotics and how she's able to do what she does and what her plans are for the future. And we'll get into some of that later on in the video. Something I wanted to point out is that she received this grant from the Adawe Foundation. Now, on Numbani, there is the Adawe International Airport and Adawe Avenue, which are most likely references to Gabrielle Adawe, who was the Undersecretary General of the United Nations during and right after the Omnic Crisis, and she was one of the key architects of the original Overwatch task force. I guess she was really skeptical of the idea, but then was convinced that it was the best thing for the United Nations, especially because of the actions of Jack Morrison, who is now Soldier 76. So, does this mean that Effie will eventually have some closer ties with Overwatch? Does the Adawe Foundation have ties to Overwatch? Or is it just more of a legacy of a famous person who was integral in the resolution of the Omnic Crisis? Just a little bit of history. I wanted to figure out, that name sounded familiar, so I looked it up. Just something to think about. But let's dive into more about the interview. So the interviewer asks her about how she got into building robots, designing them, and working in artificial intelligence. And she says, well, I've always been interested. After my mom and dad got me my first robotics kit, I became obsessed with putting together little drones. When I started to get good at it, I tried to build robots to do my chores and help around the house. My parents think it's cheating. It's no fair. I want to create things that make our lives better, and someday my dream is to build something that can keep us safe, like the new OR-15s. I think that would be great. Now, I don't know what an OR-15 is, but it sounds like it's pretty impressive. And so after this article, they ask what she is planning on doing, and she says, I've got something in mind, I have an idea, but it's a secret for now. So a bunch of people have been posting videos and starting forum threads talking about what they're speculating that this character is going to be. Is she an Overwatch character? Is she associated with the new Overwatch character? Is she going to be our next hero? If so, what role is that going to be? So I'm just going to sort of dive into some of the crazy speculation and ideas that I had after I saw this article. So one of the first things that most people thought of when this article came out was, is Effie related at all to Doomfist? Not familiarly, but like Doomfist came from Africa. His museum exhibit is in Numbani. That's where the gauntlet is being held. Is it possible that she is related to him at all? And while it is certainly possible, one of my ideas for if she is a hero has something to do with the Doomfist gauntlet. However, I think that Doomfist will probably end up becoming a character eventually. So I don't know if this will be a sort of different permutation on the Doomfist and that Jeff Kaplan was just being cheeky when he said Hero 24 isn't who you think it is. Now, there's also the possibility that Effie isn't actually the upcoming hero, but maybe is friends with or is associated with or works with the hero, sort of like Amadeus Cho and the Hulk. He's sort of one of his friends. He's also friends with Hercules in Marvel Comics. And maybe she is a brilliant scientist who helps out the upcoming hero. Maybe equips him, maybe created him. And we'll get into that later. So let's move forward with the assumption, just for speculation purposes, that Effie is the new hero that we're gonna get. Let's just sort of speculate on what kind of powers she might have, what her role might be. I'm thinking we've gotten a new support character in Ana and a new assault character through Sombra. So I think we need a new tank, but it's also possible that based on this description, I think she could also be a defense character. For defense, I could see Effie maybe making stationary barriers, sort of like a generated Reinhardt barrier that stands in a certain area to grant cover, so that maybe Reinhardt wouldn't be as necessary. If you have an Effie, she just drops down this barrier or barricade that may either prevent fire or maybe closes off a choke point even more. I could also see Effie having small drones that she might stick to the side of a wall and might grant sight through buildings, sort of like Hanzo's sonar arrow or Widowmaker's infrasight. That might be a little bit too powerful for a normal ability, even if it's just one drone that just sits there to grant sight to that one area until it's destroyed or she puts out a new one. Might be really cool for defense. In terms of tanks, there's a couple different ideas. We don't have any characters right now that are like a hunter pet minion style character, and Overwatch's big design is that each character has a unique role. While some of their mechanics might bleed over a little bit into each other, it's important in the integral design of Overwatch that each character does something that no one else can, so that they have a defined role within the meta. So it's very possible that we might get some minion summoning or hunter-pet relationship style hero. Possibly Effie might have remote-controlled robot minions. Maybe she summons one robot at a time and each robot has a unique skill. So maybe her E ability is summoning in a robot that's meant to mitigate damage, like a tank. Or maybe then she can swap that out for a damage-dealing robot or a robot that heals. And so while maybe her base robot might be more tanky, it can also shift into something for more diverse roles. Another big thing is that Effie is 11 years old, and so I might find it a little strange if in a game where you're shooting and killing each other, if you can kill an 11-year-old child. So it's very possible that Effie might control her robot from the spawn room. And it's also a possibility that maybe this new hero will be a robot she controls from spawn, and it can reconfigure sort of like Bastion, but each form has a very specific role and it might have more than one, where Bastion has his recon mode and then his turret sentry mode. It might have a, barrier mode and then a gun mode, or maybe a passive aura for maybe a speed debuff on enemies, or speed, slowing down field it can put down, or something else. Because right now Lucio's the only one with a speed ability and makes him very unique in the meta, and so having a character who could do something else with speed might be really cool. Another idea is that Effie has created a robot with artificial intelligence to become the new Doomfist. Doomfist is not a unique person as much as it is a title passed down from each wielder of the Doomfist gauntlet, so maybe Effie has created her own Doomfist. She's made a giant robot, or just a robot that she has bestowed the gauntlet upon, and that will be our new hero. And it was created by Effie. Another idea that sort of bleeds into the defense is that she creates drones, and maybe these drones, you can stick one onto an ally, and it gives them a barrier, sort of like a mini Winston bubble that gives them just an extra amount of shields for some extra shielding and tankiness, or maybe it grants a buff or debuff. Maybe you put the drones on someone and it slows them down, or you put a drone on one person and it speeds them up. Little things that they can do in addition to the idea of granting sight through buildings, which would be really cool for crowd control, for stopping an important target. If someone gets nano boosted and you put a drone on them to slow them down, if you do that to a Genji while he's ulting and he can't reach anyone, then you've negated the nano boost. So that could be really cool. There's so many possibilities, and I'm sure I've just barely scratched the surface with some of my ideas about what kind of hero Effie could be if she is indeed the upcoming hero. There's the other options that it is a robot that she has made, and that's the hero, and she's just closely tied to its story. We might have sort of like a Big Hero 6 sort of relationship where we have Hero, the creator of the robot, and then there's the robot, which is actually the hero. And I would be totally down for that. I love that sort of interaction, and it's actually a relationship that we haven't really seen in Overwatch yet. We have Bastion, who's just a robot, and we have D.Va, who pilots a mech, but we don't have a character who is sort of a 2-in-1 for their personality, and I think that'd be really cool to see. I've seen some speculation that she might be a villain based on how coy Effie is during the interview when they said, what are you going to do with your grant if you're just going to get a new computer, pay for college tuition? She says, oh, I have an idea. And the interviewer asks, no hint? She says, it's a secret for now, but my parents are taking me on a trip to celebrate. It'll be my first time flying, so I can't wait. And some people are thinking, well, maybe she's going to use the Doomfist Gauntlet and she's, up to some mischievous things. It sounds like she's not giving away all the information. And I can totally see where people are coming from with that sort of thought process. But looking at Effie's picture that has been released, nothing about her character design and the shapes used in her character design and the color palette used with the image that we've been given, nothing suggests a villainous character. There's a lot of round shapes, soft lines, a very earthy color palette that to me suggests a more kind-hearted, friendly character with maybe some mischievous tendencies. Normally with a villainous character, if you think of Reaper and Widowmaker and Sombra, there's a lot more darker colors, some more triangular angles and shapes that are often used. Reinhardt has a giant square. Winston is a little bit of a square and a circle because he's really strong but also very friendly. And Blizzard has done such a solid job with really, really strong character design that if this character turned out to be evil, I would be very surprised. This is all very exciting news. I'm so excited to get a new character. And after Sombra's ARG sort of fiasco, where it went on far longer than a lot of people wanted because I think Blizzard underestimated how quickly people would solve the ARG puzzles. Blizzard has said that they don't want to extend the hints and dragging out the hype for new characters, so we're probably going to see her release really soon. I would even say it'll come out at least with information on her and then in the following days be released into the game this week, so maybe even Wednesday, because tonight, the 21st, the competitive season ended and we have a week of the off season. And there is no better time than in between competitive seasons to release a new character, because this gives people a week to play without worrying about their SR and practice this new character so that the following week they can jump into competitive, and if anyone really likes the way she plays, they can play Effie in the competitive season. So I think we're going to see information on this character. If she isn't outright released for play, at least on the PTR, tomorrow, then sometime this week before the next competitive season begins. So it's really, really exciting. I'm hoping another tank. I love my tanks. I love my Winston, D.Va, Zarya, Reinhardt, Roadhog. They're all great, but we need another big barrier tank that can eat a lot of damage so that Reinhardt doesn't feel like as much of a need to pick in a lot of situations. But let me know what you guys think. What kind of character do you think our new hero is? Is it going to be Effie? Is it going to be a robot she's made? Or is she related in some other way to the upcoming hero? And what do you think her affiliations are? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed the speculation. I'm trying to get back into providing more and more Overwatch content. I've got a bunch of games recorded, planning on streaming again soon. So if you guys enjoy Overwatch content, show me down in the comments and in the like section, and I'll make sure to prioritize making this sort of content for you guys. You guys have been awarded some Geek XP, and until next time, I'll see you at your next save.